Hello, Happy New Year, and welcome to the Flatchat Podcast's first show for 2019, brought to you by SimSpeed Entertainment. On this podcast, we'll speak to Evolution Racing Team driver and Aussie Driver Search winner Ethan Grigg Gault. And also, we'll go over the winners and losers of the 2018 Flatchat Scops Award.
This is the 8 Scops.
Flatchat Podcast V8 Scots Edition. The Flatchat Podcast V8 Scots Edition.
2019!
Well, it's been a big break. Lots of stuff happening behind the scenes. A bit of Christmas, a bit of a New Year, a lot of holidays. JC, you had a birthday, mate, on Christmas Day. Is that right?
Happy birthday to Jesus. Happy.
Yeah, I do share a birthday with some other bloke, but he's pretty old, so I don't really pay too much of attention to it. But thanks, Norrie. I really welcome that because I am in a hard predicament, guys. I'm stuck between a rock and a hard place, right? My birthday falls exactly in between Thomas McMillan's birthday and Jake Sperry's birthday. So that's my company that I keep around this Christmas period. How did I turn out to be so amazing with those two as company? I don't know. You tell me. I don't know. But that's good to be back,
you
guys.
got to be right on the mark. Yeah, mate. Oh, absolutely. And another person rejoining us again, Mr. Matthew Norris. You've been away for a while, mate, but it's good to have you back on the podcast, mate.
Yeah, I've been away for a little bit too long and I've missed it. So it's good to see you guys have carried on the show without me, and our fans really missed my contribution. So I've come back to ruin it. So yeah, that's me.
Welcome back, Norrie. Yeah, all we get is letters of complaint, still harping back on the episodes that you were on before. They just can't get over how dodgy they were. But
Yeah, I'll start writing those letters now.
you complain about yourself. How were your holidays, Norrie? What did you get up to? Did you get the internet fixed? Did you get to download those 2 megabytes over the Christmas period?
I took my computer to work, plugged it into the modem, downloaded all the stuff I needed to download, and then proceeded to just keep working. So that was my holiday.
So you downloaded MILF Spring Break or whatever it is.
It's longer than you think.
I thought you were going somewhere else with that, JC. That was just...
It's a 4 gig download, mate. Oh, wait, you're talking about... Okay. Yeah, iRacing.
Yeah.
That was a big download.
Yeah, I know. There's Tsukuba Circuit and all the updates. I mean, yeah, we it's
Have you guys had a chance to drive them?
Yeah.
Yes.
I haven't done much driving actually over the holiday period, but yeah, they're pretty cool.
Because I don't think I've spoken to you since day night came out.
I hate the Roval. I'm not even going to sugarcoat it. I cannot stand the Roval.
What?
Really? Oh, mate. Oh, not a fan at all. I do like the Tsukuba. Is that yeah?
Tsukuba.
Sorry, Tsukuba. Yeah.
You say
cool.
like you're blowing your nose.
Yeah. Oh wow. Okay. Yeah. Well,
Scuba,
no, that's a
like
good track.
Tsunami.
Ah. Okay. Yep. Fair enough. Yeah, I'm enjoying driving every now and again around there. I'm the same as you though, JC. I've been a little bit off the rig and doing a little bit of other stuff on the side there. So
yeah, streaming. Don't shy away from it. It's Kessie, spelled with a K-E-55, hashtag Chaz Mostert fan club, E-S-Y, Kessie, no, E-Y.
That's it. Yeah.
Can you spell?
A K55 stream, mate. That's what it's going to be. It'll eventually get there.
K55.
Look, I've got some pretty strong competition though.
I heard the Flatchat boys on there. They were doing a fantastic job of commentating.
Oh yeah, mate.
They're knobs. I wouldn't listen to them. I'd rather listen to David Sanford. David, your expertise are welcome. And when I say expertise, I mean your ability to talk smack without being too obnoxious. It's lovely. I love your talent. You got to come on.
It was funny. One of the clips that I think Dane Warren did on one of the streams when we were watching, I think it was the F3 the OSR F3 Championship before they started actually doing broadcasts, and Sanford did an Evanescence song, and I genuinely thought that Stenny had interrupted and started singing in the middle of it because I think Sanford's voice went a little bit funny halfway through. And it sounded exactly like Kurt Stenberg. So, yeah, man, it was pretty funny.
Did Isaac Edwards come and play the guitar solo too?
No, he didn't. Not this time. We're going to get him on another time.
I hope so, mate. Keep it up. I do want to hear that song though, Isaac. I mean, 20 minutes in, I'd never actually got to hear the song. That's one of my favourite songs. A Horse with No Head? No, that's a Godfather. A Horse with No Name. That is such an iconic song for me growing up with a PlayStation 2 and playing GTA San Andreas, because that's what plays as you're riding through the desert. Yeah, The Horse with No Name. I love that song. Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Now maybe we can do a rendition sometime.
I was today old when I figured that out. Literally this minute.
Yeah.
Holy
I love that song
shit.
because of that.
I'm going to go
Because
Google
of
that.
the emotions attached
Thanks,
to
Jason.
being 15 years old playing San Andreas on the wacky tobacky.
Wow. Drug reference. Well, this podcast has started off well.
Oh, well, none of that now.
Look, couple other things.
There's been MILFs and Andreas and drugs all in the first 10 minutes.
perfect.
So we're off to a flying
We're
start.
heading rock
2019.
bottom early, guys. What I can say is there's been a couple of things that have happened over the off season. Obviously, VRS have announced a new line of, I don't know if is it OSW equipment, JC? Or?
I would assume so, given the comment of Jared Filsell, who posted up the post that I saw first, and he was on there. I don't know, acting as somewhat of a spokesperson in a sense for answering quite a few questions. And I do believe that he did mention that they were OSR style hubs. So, yeah, I would say they are OSR. Also,
OSW or?
Oh, sorry,
OSW?
not OSR. Sorry, guys, OSR aren't up to that level yet, making their own equipment. But, yeah, OSW. Yeah, OSW wheels, I'm pretty sure, 99%. Yep. Which is great.
And there's been two other things that happened. I think that I can recall. I suppose the F3 OSR F3 series has started, and as we just mentioned, we did a couple of meme streams of it. But the professionals have taken over at SimSpeed, and now they're broadcasting once a week, I believe, on a Thursday night, the F3 Championships. And the other thing, what is it? Aussie Driver Search. I can't forget Aussie Driver Search. So Aussie Driver Search. The announcement of the sponsorship of the Strength of Field V8 Supercar Series. That's really big news for sim racing. And
Sorry, Chris, I'm just going to stop you there. That is not big. That is
it's
huge
massive.
news.
Huge. Donald Trump style, huge.
Huge with a Y.
Obviously with the, I suppose the experience of Jake Burton going in, and obviously there's been a pretty good relationship built between those guys and SimSpeed, and it's good to see. Obviously Ethan Grigg Gault, who we have on the show tonight, we're building a pretty strong relationship between the two. So good to see.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to know how much Jake had an input into that. I'm sure it was quite a lot. So thank you, Mr. Burton, for organising that for our community, I've got to say. And we are chatting to Kyle Austin, the owner and founder of Aussie Driver Search. He was supposed to be on the show tonight, but he had prior commitments, obviously brokering big money deals with Aussie Driver Search, internationally flying, jet setting around the world. So he will hopefully be on next show. It would have been good to have Kyle on with Ethan to kind of have a bit of a chat to them at the same time, even Jake at the same time. But look, he'll be on next week.
Might be able to find out what Ethan's doing.
Yeah, well, I mean,
all of us could know.
Are you confused like me with the Aussie Driver Search prize that Ethan has?
I'm extremely confused.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm sure it'll be big, and I'm sure that they're just all wrapping up their holidays, and eventually all the news will come out, and
It's probably a bit like the Supercar silly season. Like, we don't know who's landing where, so the Aussie Driver Search probably doesn't know who's going where either. So it'll come out in the wash at the end by the time we hit the first round at Phillip Island.
Because I did state on a post that we put up on the podcast page that Ethan had won the 86 drive for 2019. Now, that is not correct. It may be correct, I don't know, but is not confirmed. That's not what he has won.
He may do it.
So there is, what he's won.
Who knows?
As far as I know, is he may. I think he can. That could be an option, but what he has won is some type of budget to race next year, and I don't know much more. So we'll have to ask Ethan when he comes on.
Well, either way, that's massive news. And some other news moving forward. The A few drivers have changed location, I suppose, over the off season. Some of them towards the end of the Scop season, but so we've got down here with TTL. A couple of people moved over there after the exit of Josh Rogers. So Jackson Susan-Harlow has gone over to TTL alongside of, and this is announced just today, Griffin Gardner. I'm really stoked for that kid. He's really started to hit his strides. As we saw towards the end of the AOS season, he did a masterful job at Bathurst with Brett Loxton, and we look forward to seeing how those guys can progress with a big team like TTL. Alongside of these guys, for Evolution Racing Team, Kyle Stokes and James Scott had a little bit to do with James Scott earlier on in his career, driving with Progression Racing Australia. He's moved from All Star Motorsport over to Evolution Racing Team, and look, I'm sure that that's a positive move for him as well as Kyle. And the last two that I've got written down, now if I miss anyone, I really apologise, but Gene Genie, Gene Fiddies, has gone to Geodesic Racing. I think he might be doing a bit of going for Pro Series. I'm not Road to Pro. What do they call it? Over there at Geodesic. And the other one, which I only just noticed maybe a couple of days ago, was Marlon McMullen. Has come out of the shades of the privateer land and gone over to Chris Moretta Racing CMR. So, well done to those guys. And we really look forward to seeing the progression that they have over in their new teams.
Can we just talk about them for a sec? There's a few that are really interesting to me. Jackson Susan-Harlow to TTL. He is such an up-and-comer. I mean, we've got our awards coming up too, and he, to me, is the biggest surprise I've seen in the community as far as coming in as like a serious rookie, guys. I got to say, like, this is no dig at Jackson. I mean, I think that Jackson's well, like, in his younger teenage years. Pretty sure he has a karting background, really has his experience in competitive racing in that sense, but man, I'm telling you, I think I've said this before, but he came in like seriously, and he was not comfortable on the iRacing platform in the V8.
Would you say that he came in like a wrecking ball?
He came
I would.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
I remember.
It's worse than any of us. I mean, seriously, Jackson, this is a compliment to how far you come. But mate, seriously, I think I crashed out. I think I probably took you off the road actually one time at Alton Park. You probably remember that, but yeah, to go from that to where he's got to now is absolutely outstanding. So onwards and upwards for Jackson. Sorry, no.
No, I was going to agree with you. I remember being in the Dev Series and Jackson took me out nearly every time I came past him. So to see where he's gone to now, massive respect for you, mate, because I'm still back there and you're up at TTL level. So massive respect, Jackson, and I look forward to passing you again because
I'm not putting anything on that guy because I took him out in a development series race where he was on track to win. So, yeah, he probably owes me one. As far as the other guys go, I mean,
you can have one of mine.
One of the biggest movers, obviously, Marlon McMullen to CMR. That brings a wealth of experience. He's very vocal about his 18 championships, no matter what series. But he's definitely got a lot of experience there, and I think he'll probably take over as their number one driver, especially in the V8 world, straight away. And that's only good for CMR and their drivers like Craig Jones, for example.
Yeah, really reminiscent of a Ricciardo to Renault, in my opinion. Having Marlon come in and probably show the guys just that extra like 1% maybe to get the whole team as a whole up and running in. I mean, I'd love to see those cars and the livery. The new livery too, further up the grid would be amazing. They're just one of those teams that are ready for a bit of a kick, and having Marlon in there is going to be absolutely that kick, I reckon, for them this year.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but it's a bit like Trick. The team that you just want to see do well. And Marlon bringing that experience to that team is really going to step them up, and it's going to be a massive, massive lurch forward for CMR. So massive props to them on that signing.
The other two movers, so Kyle Stokes moving to Evolution Racing Team over to, I suppose, a comfortable place for him. Brenton O'Brien's obviously doing a pretty good job recruiting some of these young stars. He's got Cooper Webster in the last year as well, then James Scott. But Kyle Stokes has driven a lot with another Evolution Racing Team driver, Jamie McKnight. and we all know that how much he has, what sort of impact he has on a team and iRacing, our community in itself. So it's really good to see Kyle take that move. Not that, I mean, obviously Synergy were a pretty big team. I'm sure he's taken a lot of learnings out of Synergy, and he's moved on to what I suppose he sees as bigger and better things, which is good to see. And then the last one, guys, we had a lot of experience with this guy.
Let me get my sparing on. Look out, it's Genie. No, that was terrible.
That was absolutely.
Oh, dear.
Gene, eh? Sorry, that was more Herbert.
Is it just me or does Sperry sound like an 80-year-old woman with emphysema?
The Gene Fittest.
Say Genie.
Wow. Now, you sound like an 80-year-old woman with emphysema.
I've got to say, massive respect to Gene for where he's going, and how much respect when we were at PRA. I mean, I made a pretty silent departure from PRA at the end of last year, but Gene made a massive post, and there was a lot of respect shown to how much time he spent there. So, massive respect to him. I'm proud to say that I've driven with him, and when he is eventually pro, I'll put that on my CV that I've driven with a pro. So, well done, Gene.
He's definitely a pro in those Mazda MX-5s, which obviously we speak about it later with Ethan Grigg Gault. But yeah, those MX-5s, if there's a going for pro with the Mazda MX-5s, you never know.
Well, Gene's so underrated, I reckon. He's so he flies under the radar, but he's such a talent. And with the GT cars that GIDZ run, I mean, they had the GT3 series. They hold that, which SimSpeed broadcasts, and his ability to drive those cars and the MX-5s. I think it's a lot more apparent his skill set and his talent are in those GT3 cars and MX-5s as opposed to the kind of shark tank that is the V8 supercar. So I reckon he's going to absolutely shine and flourish in that team. I can't wait to see what goes on with Gene next year with this team. It's going to be really exciting.
Yeah, absolutely. And well, I think we've got a pretty special segment coming up, JC. I think I might throw over to our good friend of the podcast, Mr. Herbert Charles.
Herbert Charles, Jesus.
Now it's time for the Flatchat Awards. Yes, thanks for that.
But how good is this, the awards? We're finally here. Thank you guys out there in the community. We've got quite a lot of followers nowadays, so it's really nice to see, and to see that so many people added their input into this particular survey that we put out. That really is it means a lot to us because it takes a lot of time to do this podcast and a lot of effort goes into it. Really, really nice to know that we got a lot of response from it. So, and obviously too, along with that, people care about what happens in the world of V8 Scops. It's nice to know that it's not just a driver's market, if that makes any sense. I mean, like, there's spectators and viewers and fans of the series. It's nice to know that everyone had an input in voting for, not just your own mate or your own team or something. There's a lot of votes came in. So, yeah, guys, I'm really happy with how it went. And just to add something to that, which would be that the end of season Scops race did have its own awards. The only difference is the backing from Jamie McKnight, which we keep putting our feelers out there and letting Jamie know. We're open to sponsorship, Jamie. Open to them. Because of the hundreds and hundreds of dollars that go into the iRacing credit that the great sponsors, West End Mazda of the series, can put in. I mean, we're really in awe of what you do, mate, and to sponsor those awards is fantastic. They were on the broadcast. Our one's a little bit more fun. But we have got prizes, by the way, for the three major ones, which we'll be giving out and contacting the winners in the next couple of days.
That'll be the last three that we announce here. So, look, I'm going to kick it off with the first one because I really like this one. So the first one was the livery of the year. Now, we all know that everyone puts in, there's so many painters out there, there's so many creators out there that make really good content and really awesome looking cars. Like, you watch a Scops broadcast and you just go, wow, this is so professional, because there is so many really nice liveries out there. One of the cars in contention for the livery award, probably not as professional as most of the other entries, but it was definitely popular, though, I've got to say. Yeah. Look, there was the the one that had my vote got the win, and I'm really happy to say that. I might go through the. I'll go backwards. I'll go backwards here. So there was about 10 or 11 entries or something like that, and in the top 5, I think there is. So we had very, very close for everyone besides first place, which ran away a little bit. Zuva Racing finished pretty much on par with JP Simshed. I really like that one. That one's good. With KRF, Redback, Evolution Racing Team and Pleb Sim Sports took out the other podium positions. The Pleb Sim Sports car is obviously the one that I'm referring to. The Big Pleb, which was a takeoff of the old Big Kev livery. I thought that was an absolute cracker. Done by Kurt Stenberg.
That was a stellar job, that one.
Yeah. And then pretty much a quarter of the votes, give or take a percent. Chris Murder Racing, CMR, awesome job. Congratulations. You guys are the livery of the year. Now I'll throw to...
Nice work, guys.
Yeah, for sure.
You guys have changed it for this new year, but it's a great livery. But mate, you really came out with a banger with that that silver metallic. It was such a deep metallic too. I know that the painters out there have their secrets on how they get that particular look. Pretty sure that Steve...
Lattimore.
Steve Lattimore made that livery for you guys, and that one absolutely killed it.
Yeah, well done, guys. I think I might throw over to Mr. JC Richards for a moment of 2018.
Thanks, Chris. Let me just finish off my corn chips here before I get into the moment of the year. Okay.
This is the one you predicted, mate.
Yeah, look, obviously, go through it in reverse. 19% of the vote went to Cooper Webster's first win and ever Scops race, which was amazing that he won that race at Sebring.
Yeah, no, we just told Norrie about that. I don't think he was aware of that, but a 15-year-old winning a race in Scops, Norrie got a bit salty, I think.
Yeah.
So Norrie, you've got to go minus 12 years or something to.
A lot more than that, mate. A lot more. I can look 12, but I can't go 12.
Yeah. What was an awesome achievement.
No, it's amazing. And yeah, off to even more success, hopefully, too, you made at TTL. But
ERT, mate. ERT.
Oh, ERT, I'm sorry. Cooper Webster. Yeah, that's right. For some reason, I get him and Griffin mixed up because they.
Well, you'll get to that.
We'll
get to that one in a minute.
Yeah, there you go. Just future foresight there. So really, really close to that. In second place were the moment of 2018 runner-up would be the final 10 laps at Imola involving Ethan Grigg Gault, Josh Rogers and Jared Filsell.
That was amazing.
Which was just, such a fiery exchange for 10 laps there at the end.
I'm kind of glad I crashed the car out that race so I could actually watch the final 10 race.
You were on
That was awesome.
I'm sure you didn't intend it, but it did work out.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
And obviously, I think everyone can probably guess the moment of 2018. The biggest moment as a moment is the trick car winning Bathurst in the final lap, overtaking Ethan Grigg Gault's ERT car. And through amazing strategy from Ross Rizzo and then Forzan El Nabi just storming home at the end. So that is your winner of moment of 2018.
Well done. Congratulations, Trick.
All right, now here's where the controversy starts. The crash of the year. There was two big ones that got a lot of votes. Three big votes.
Three big
Three.
ones. Casey, do you mind if can someone else announce the third place winner here? I just want to hear someone else announce this one. Norrie.
Yeah, I'll jump in. So crash of the year in reverse order, like all the rest. 13% CMR at Imola. Now, JC, I was there and I remember it, but I just need someone else to really remind me who caused that crash.
I think who caused it was a guy who wasn't very familiar to Scops races, actually.
No, I think he just made it. I think he just made it and boasted how good he was.
I was familiar with lots of boasting. Yep, lots of trumpet blowing. I do.
There was a lot of behind the scenes
that.
talk on this show about who, like how he'd done it.
Yeah, Chris, do you remember what happened there with CMR car at Imola? Can you just talk me through it, Chris?
I do not recall or no. Yeah, look, I had a bit of a roughing up with the team boss at CMR.
I did not have it.
I was behind Chris and I hit him and he flipped. and I got a drive-through for it. And then when I went for the drive-through, I got a speeding in pit lane, so I got another drive-through.
If you're going to do it, you better go hard.
Oh man, it
Go
was
hard or go
crazy.
home.
Apologise to CMR for about the 15th time.
That was
for
a
that
horrible crash, which took out two very good cars that were in contention for decent results. So that was a shame, that one.
Mate,
But
the Genie would have made us, first position for sure. But
I said decent, not the win.
Chris Moretta and CMR, it's really ironic that you won the livery of the year because Chris Kessie just went and ruined it in one fell swoop.
I did. It looked pretty cool as a car on with roof, though, I must say. Like it was
It looked better on its wheels,
created one of
mate.
the best highlights of the series.
It looked better on
Yeah?
its wheels, as most people voted.
yes. Yeah.
23%. I'll finish this award so you can run through.
Okay,
them.
all right, you can take over, mate.
23% was everyone at Watkins Glen. That was a fantastic
I like that
event.
one.
Was that not 9 safety cars? I think.
What
So
is it,
like,
17?
I mean, we were going to go through all of the different drivers involved, but I just thought, look, to be honest, everyone was involved in something. I mean, come on. Even Burton, who won that race,
I don't think there was a car that came out of that Watkins race with a single panel intact.
Yeah.
That was a crash fest and a half. But,
It always is at Watkins Glen.
but it's why it was a half, because it was runner-up to our winner of 37%. The one where we're all shielding our eyes. It was 1 in the fence, 2 in the fence, 3 in the fence. It was the 37% winner. Bathurst, Philsell, Rogers, Pengley and Emerson.
So congratulations to Wayne Pengley for winning that award. I mean, sorry, that's highly,
It's not an award you
highly
want to win,
controversial.
but-
You don't want to win that one, but we all jumped out of our chairs for that accident. That was horrible.
Oh, mate, that was it was a game changer for that race. We saw Phil Sell and Rogers battling it out, coming up Mountain Straight, and Pengley and Emerson were also fighting for position. So 4 cars don't go through that. So
No, you
Yeah.
can't get 4 cars through turn 2.
I need to bring up a technicality here in the awards, boys, because technically, moment of the year winner should go to Pengley and Emerson, right?
Yes.
Because Trick won the event.
Trick won the event, but it was caused by the crash of the year. So I think it's fair that both of those won their respective classes.
Yeah, for sure.
And look, guys, Wayne, Luke, Jared, and Josh making lighthearted of this situation. I know you guys, the wounds are deep, guys, but seriously, we're just having fun.
We're not pouring the salt in, we're pouring the sugar in.
Yeah, seriously, that was super bad. But yeah, you got Bathurst this year to go and make it right again. So crash of the year might be controversial, like you say, Chris, but you got to put it in there, guys. You got to. It's always going to be there.
You've got to include it.
That is what
It
happened.
happened.
Yeah, for sure. I'm going to take the next one. There's no doubt about this one because I respect this guy a fair bit. Biggest upset, I'm not even naming anyone else.
I like how this is written, Chris. It just says, winner is by a country mile. I'll let you take it away.
Didn't even
So I
let
believe
anyone
the
have a
number
go.
So this one's biggest upset. Now this means that the person who probably had the biggest raps on them prior to the series and then where they ended up towards the end of the series. And there was massive raps on this guy, and he definitely deserves these raps because he is such a really good driver, and I can definitely see him winning a lot of races moving forward in the Scop series and other series as well. Mr. Dane Warren from All Star Motorsport, mate.
Well done,
You ran
Dane.
away with this one.
Well done,
Yeah,
Dane.
you ran away with
Is
it.
this an
Good
applause?
job.
I'll give it a quick. Hey, Norrie,
Yeah.
where's the clap?
A Norrie clap? Sure, coming right up.
Yeah. There we go. Fantastic. You just achieved
I
a
haven't-
massive.
Haven't done one in
Norrie
6
cap.
months. I don't know what it's like.
No, look, Dane. I suppose what this shows is, mate, that everyone has a lot of confidence in you, and and they were just a bit surprised, I suppose, by the results. I think you were fairly unlucky in a lot of different cases, but I'm looking forward to seeing the comeback, the biggest comeback next season from you, Dane. Mate. I mean, onwards and upwards, mate.
All right, guys. So we're moving into the awarded awards. So the winners of each of these awards, we're going to give a special Flat Chat podcast $20 iRacing voucher, which means we'll just transfer $20 iRacing dollars into your account.
Fantastic.
So the first
Well
one will
done.
be future champions. The drivers that you put your eyes on this year that you can say, wow, they've come a long way, and we can really see that they probably got a really good shot to taking out a Scops title in the coming years because of their talent is undeniable. Really, it was a 2-horse race with this one, guys, and
Yeah, for sure.
by one vote, this particular driver, young man, won. The runner-up was Cooper Webster of ERT. So, sorry, Cooper, mate, you missed out by one vote to Griffin Gardner.
Congratulations.
And he is our
Congratulations,
future
mate.
champion.
Well done, bud. That's well done.
Yep. I call it the Max Verstappen Award, mate. Max Verstappen Future Champion Award.
Maybe when they stop running Honda.
It's good timing for Griffin. Just announced today being joining TTL, taking away awards straight away. Well done, mate.
So, mate, we'll get in contact with you, Griffin, and we'll get that $20 iRacing
Credit to
bit
you.
of credit to you. So, and the next award is Mr. Norris.
The most improved driver. Now, this is a hard-fought category with everyone trying to better themselves from the previous season.
So, are we actually able to give the iRacing credits to a Flat Chat podcast member, Chris Casey, because he thinks he's the most improved driver?
I was waiting for it. I knew you'd bring
Well,
that up.
I was actually going to ask him whether he award it to me.
I don't, by the way. I don't. I'm not even in these people's class. It's
Can-
not even close.
Can we award it to me because I made one Scops race
No.
at Oran Park on my old wheel? No?
Second split, mate.
Hey, it was there. I was on a broadcast. Spiri mentioned my name. So our third place winner, Ross Rizzo. Congratulations,
Yep.
Ross. Unfortunately, you missed out.
Ross was so I must say that Ross was all three of these people were actually really close for a long period of time, and then on probably the third post that we put up for the votes, it just the leader stormed away with it. But the difference between the second and third position was one vote. So Ross had a very good season. I know that he got the he got this. I think Sperry was very big on Ross this season, and I'm pretty sure he got his vote. And Ross had a really consistent season. Definitely a massive improvement from being in a lot of second split races the previous season, or not making top split at all, to very consistently being in the top 15 in Scops, and then obviously doing really well in the Enduros with Forza and Arnavi. So, Ross did an absolute cracking job and definitely deserved the podium position here in this award.
Exactly right.
Yeah, I agree, and it's I think it's very specific to Ross, coupled with the V8 supercar. But I think I'm going to make note of that Ross Rizzo is obviously a champion in GT3 series, like previous to this season at Scops. So it's not like he's the most improved driver. It is very specific to Scops,
Yes,
isn't it?
absolutely.
Yeah.
That's why they're called the Scops Awards. Flat Chat Scops Awards.
Thanks, Harry.
Okay, moving on to second place, a massive supporter of the series, Mr. Jamie McKnight.
Yep. Well, another bloke I had a lot. He came through at the same time I did, so pretty much we started in iRacing at the same time, and he just went straight up the top. He started making top split races. So what I must say is, as I said before, he has a lot to do with the Australian online supercar community, and it's showing not just within his sponsorship deals with Scops and SimSpeed, but also in his driving. He has put in a lot of effort into his driving, and he's done a really good job, and definitely deserves that second position for ERT.
Absolutely. I mean, he's, like you say, his sponsorship of the entire series and everything he puts in as his own personal business, that's fantastic. But his driving is just, it's come on so much in everything he's put into it. It's fantastic to see. So well done, Jamie.
Yeah, well done, because he's so committed. I mean, I've got to say, it's very admirable to see Jamie's commitment to the car. Obviously, Jamie's got to be a busy man outside of this, and to put so much time into the car to get those results. It's such a level of dedication and diligence and tenacity to then actually get those results coming through in this particular. It's an animal world out there in this V8 supercar community to get good. And I mean, I always said that the best way to get good at sim racing is to lose your job for a year or to have time off. 'Cause, You need
Duran
time,
Nakora.
so-
Duran Nakora.
It seemed to be how it worked.
Yeah, just get an injury at work and you get top splitter scops in no time. But no, seriously, like that is a pretty mean feat. You got to say because the amount of dedication you need to get as good as Jamie's got is pretty high. And I mean, hasn't he taken out the American series like?
Yeah, he won it.
Pretty sure he has.
times in a row
Yeah.
as well.
I think it's at least 2 times. Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm sure Jamie needs no further embellishments from us. But yeah, mate, got to say from our end, awesome effort, mate, and happy that you got in there on this particular award.
And moving on to first place, our most improved driver of the V8 Scops 2018 season for the Flatchat Podcast Awards is Mr. Brett Loxton.
Yeah. Congratulations, Brett. Brett Loxton, mate.
Congratulations,
Well
Brett
done.
Loxton.
For KRF and Zuva, mate, you've done a really good job this season, and you know, we had you on the podcast before, and we spoke about your improvement, and you just talked about your laps. You're just doing laps and doing laps and doing laps, and mate, we really appreciate your dedication, and I'm sure, and the iRacing community has definitely appreciated you in this award as well as the most improved driver, mate. So congratulations.
Yeah, and how good's 2019 looking for Brett Loxton? Seriously, like the amount of improvement in 1 year, who knows what that's going to look like in this season coming up ahead of us. So
Was
looking
he in
forward
the
to that.
future champions list? Was that gonna? He's definitely on the meteoric rise at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, it's such a rapid improvement. I mean, we spoke to Brett a couple of months ago, but it's such a rapid rise as far as results, you know, like level of driving capability. It's one of those things that you kind of think you can't teach an old dog new tricks. Brett's not a teenager, obviously. He's like he's a grown man, and he just said he put that time in and something clicked. I've heard stories that drivers have, you know, even like I was just saying, spending heaps of time on the sim, it can slowly develop. But with Brett, it was almost like an overnight thing that he just realised something about his driving. It's like, oh, we can just go fast now.
Oh,
Let's do it.
pedal goes all the way. Yeah, it's one
So
of
that's
those things
awesome.
that some of the drivers just pick up and they really just fly with it. So, yeah, massive congratulations for being the most improved.
Well, now is the big award of the year, or one of the other big awards of the year, I suppose. This is one maybe a little bit more predictable. I don't know. We'll see what you guys think, but well, we can tell what you guys think because on the votes, in third position for driver of the year was Ross Rizzo for Trick Sim Sports. We just spoke about you, mate. Well done.
How good's that?
That's
I know Ross knows that we're big fans of Ross. The Flat Chat podcast is big fans of Mr. Ross Rizzo because, mate, he's just such a nice guy. He's such a consistent driver and he does all the right things. Hey, tell me a time that anyone has ever said, or you've heard in any chats when Ross isn't there or any comments, who's ever said that Ross Rizzo has done them wrong on the racetrack? I've never heard it. Never heard it before at all.
I don't either.
Yeah, no, for sure. And look, we can look forward to seeing more really good performance from Ross next season. But over now, it's time for second position. In second position, moving on. So Ethan Grigg Gault. So the guess what we got on tonight, mate. Well deserved. You showed your pace. You got your first win this year, mate. Oh man. Oh, sorry. Did he get his first win? Or am I just pleving it?
I think you've played it.
Yeah, he did. He did. Of course he did. Just hold on whilst I slap myself. Can you give me a Nori slap? Yeah, so congratulations to Ethan Grigg for taking out second position for Evolution Racing Team. We know you got a big future. I know that you were actually up there in the votes for future champions as well. So, yeah, mate, we look forward to seeing what you can do in 2019.
Big year for Ethan. So
Nice one.
he's on the rise.
He's on the rise.
He's on the
Yeah,
rise. Yeah, mate.
I think Ethan could win future champion as well as the driver of the year. I mean, it's very close. With Ross, it was more of a case of what he did against expectation, I guess. But with Ethan, like it was just his consistency. It's one of those cases that if it wasn't for our winner of driver of the year, Ethan would have been there. It's one of those cases of a bit of rivalry brewing. Even if the drivers themselves don't think of it that way, no answer to think about your competitor as a rival in that sense and create a weird, awkward situation. But from a spectator point of view, these two are definitely rivals, Ethan and our driver of the year. Sorry, if I'm getting too ahead of myself here.
That's all right.
You just ruined it, Casey. Ruined it.
So, I don't know who could possibly get driver of the year over Ethan Grigg.
Let me
Play
think.
the elevator music.
Thomas McMillan!
Yeah,
sorry, that was the wrong
congratulations.
award.
Oh, shit, wrong award. That
Wrong
was the
award,
Plevo award. I
jeez.
thought we got rid of that.
Damn it.
We shelved that one.
So the winner, not too surprising to a lot of people, but this guy definitely deserved it. I think he had 13 wins this season. I mean, you can't really argue for driver of the year. Congratulations, Jared Filson. Well done.
Congratulations.
Awesome job. But for TTR, once again, I mean, to be honest, you probably would have won the award last year if we were around. But and
not our fault.
I'm sure you'll be a contender next year. But mate, you've once again showed the class over everyone this year, and well deserved, mate.
Yeah, what can you say? It is Jared's playground out there in the Scops field in this particular era. So, I mean, it's quite a young series compared to, motorsport series that people follow as spectators and fans. We had the down era, and now it's the Phil Cell era. It's going to change in the future. It will. There is no doubt about it. But
Norris
at the moment, we're seeing a master.
We're going to have the
Norrie
Norrie
era.
era.
We're waiting for the Norrie era. Wow. Is that going to happen?
Norrie claps all round.
I want the Norrie era to be around, but I think we're going to be waiting till I lose my job before I.
Yeah.
I've got to win Lotto or
It's
lose
like
my job before I get near the future champions list.
Okay, so just wrapping up. So the three winners of the $20 iRacing credit. Congratulations to the future champion Griffin Gardner, most improved driver Brett Loxton, and the driver of the year Jared Filsell. We'll get in contact with you guys very soon, and I'm sure JC will transfer that winnings over to you. Now over to our guest for tonight. So as we mentioned earlier in the podcast, we've got Ethan Grigg Gault joining us today. He is the late last year he won one of the rounds of Aussie Driver Search, and he is from Evolution Racing Team. Ethan, thanks for joining us, mate. Now I want to know: have you ever driven a race car before, and how did you find the experience of the Aussie Driver Search competition?
How you going, guys? Thanks for having me on the podcast. It's really cool to be here. But yeah, I don't really have all that much experience in real race cars. I just I've got my own Toyota 86 road car, which I just do the occasional track day or so in, and I used to do a few laps in my old MX-5, but that's about it. Pretty much just track days. No real door-to-door racing yet. It's
really good to have you on, and congratulations, by the way, I've got to say, for what you've achieved with this first stage of
absolutely
of the event. And it's good to have you on. And I just heard what you said, and that's pretty crazy, man, because your road car is an 86, and before that you've had track experience in an MX-5. It's really quite parallel to your iRacing kind of rookie progression, isn't it? And then you get a chance to go into the real world 86 race car from Aussie Driver Search. I could imagine that you'd find some similarities more so than finding it a bit uncomfortable, I reckon.
Oh, to a point. Look, the ADS 86s are set up much more for track use. Mine's a bit more comfortable in that. So the tyres I'm on in my car, plus it's actually got a little less power. You'd be surprised to hear that my car is actually a lot harder to drive than the full-on race car, which is definitely interesting. But
that's awesome.
The real 86s, you pretty much just chuck them into a corner, smash the throttle, and it sticks, and off you go.
So you got you say your car has more power, your road car?
No, my car has quite a bit less power, because I believe the race cars are running on a Motec ECU, and they've all got like a standard tune that they all run. But yeah, pretty much just pulling out of the pit lanes, you get on the throttle straight away, and you can notice probably a good 30 kilowatt difference, I reckon.
So Norrie, you reckon you could take him on track?
Absolutely not.
Yeah, Norrie's got a Nissan Skyline.
Yeah.
Disclosure: the shitty ones with that not the same tail lights like the V35. They're just
the fake one where they called it a Skyline, but it's not really a Skyline.
It's an Infinity, darling. Far out, Norrie. You got to get rid of that thing.
Don't they call it a G35 or something weird?
Yeah.
No,
G35.
That's an Infinity G35. It's a Nissan V35.
Oh, the V.
Oh,
And the Nvidia G35, what, from 1992?
Yeah, mate. 1992? Didn't they win?
That's all right. It's all right. Yeah, I mean, it is a Skyline after all. It does say Skyline on it. So
That is what I'm sticking to. Every day I open the door and I see the badge that says Skyline, I'm a happy boy.
and it's an auto. Moving on.
Yeah. Hey, mate, I want to ask you. So, your MX-5 and 86 now. When they were doing the Sim to Supercar Showdown, they used the MX-5 to replicate the Toyota 86. Now, you've driven both types of the 86.
Yep.
What was closer, like, to the... Is the 86 anything like the Mazda MX-5? Like, what do you think of the comparison?
Yeah, the iRacing MX-5 actually does drive very similarly. Just I think the 86s I was driving up at Wakefield still had the Newcastle setup in them from when they were running with the supercars. So they were a little on the understeery side in comparison. But I think if you set them up on a weekend, you can obviously make them oversteer like the MX-5 in iRacing does. And yeah, it's just a real comfortable car to drive.
So in other words, it's exactly like Jared Filsell's VRS MX-5 setup.
He makes setups with the MX-5? I didn't know this.
He does, mate. Yeah, he does.
And you've won Aussie Driver Search.
I thought he made the Porsche stuff.
He does a couple, mate.
He does both. I know this because I'm a fan of his setup on the MX-5, actually. Some people aren't a fan of it because everyone wants an oversteery car that just whips around, but I quite enjoy and sit well with that kind of setup. But I think that you can tune the MX-5s on iRacing one way to the other, pretty extreme, I reckon.
The only thing I do find with the iRacing MX-5 is it's really terrible on trail braking, especially like, say, somewhere at Bathurst when you're coming down the mountain. It just wants to swap ends under brakes. I find my 86 road car sort of wants to do it, probably because the brake bias is completely off with the random brake pads I'm running front to rear, but the race car is easy in that respect.
Well, that is a race car, isn't it? Like in a general sense, a race car is supposed to be a balanced beast. It's supposed to be. I mean, most drivers look for a balance that suits them. Hey, by the way, if I sound at all like I know what I'm talking about, I don't. But I'm just wanted to say the words anyway because it makes sense to me. But yeah,
JC's got his thesaurus out.
My racing thesaurus, how to drive good.
Ludo's handbook.
Hey, if it sounds like you know what you're saying, then just stick with it. It's fine.
I know. I shouldn't have put that disclosure in there. I would have been.
Isn't that what
fine.
Greg Ross does?
Yeah, Bo Albert.
Well, that's what Darren Power did.
I know.
Commented anything and made it stick.
Yeah, conviction is the key to success. But look, man, that's going to be so cool this year. So 2019 is going to bring you as a sim racer. You have got other competitive experience too, which I wanted to just touch on in a sec. But what's your deal for the year? I mean, are you going to be racing a certain car or what's going on? I'm still a little bit iffy on the prize. What's going on there?
Look, to be honest, I don't know a huge amount myself since it's still the Christmas break and everyone's taken time off. No one's got around to anything yet. But pretty much what I know, I've got 50 grand to spend on a racing budget as per the advertisements all over ADS. But most likely I'll probably end up doing something like the 86 series because like you just can't get that exposure for that level of money anywhere else.
It's an awesome series to watch too. I got to say, like I'd say that it'd be hugely fun as well. Like, I mean, I've spoken to Burton a little bit about it, and we've all heard him talk during the Sim to Supercar Showdown of how much fun he's had as well. And if you're a big racing fan like you are, like I can't imagine it being a negative experience at all.
It does look like some awesome racing because all the cars are so close. Everyone's door to door drafting all the time. It just looks like a serious amount of fun, but the only thing I think you got to be careful of is there's a lot of young kids in that series with quite cashed up parents trying to come through, putting on moves that they maybe shouldn't and ruining some other people's race cars. So that's the only thing you got to be really wary of a class that's that close competitively.
Oh, lucky we don't experience anything like that in iRacing. Oh, wow.
Isn't the reset button a wonderful thing?
That's like where the iRacing experience would teach you a lot to sort of keep your mind open for those drivers that you regularly see that are not quite as effective as making moves.
Hey, at least real life doesn't have the serious netcode issues that iRacing does, so at least you can race a little bit closer and not instantly flip up 180 degrees upside down into a wall, so that's a good part.
Haven't you joined the iRacing space mission? It's fun.
We won't go back to CMR at Imola last year.
But Margleton might be on track with you at some point, and you never know what code issues. You might have the force. Hey, by the way, I'm completely outside of that argument. No, on either side there. But yeah, you're right. And netcode, just that incident alone is netcode can definitely alter the outcomes in iRacing, and the true talent or the expected, say, result of a certain car or a team or a driver is sometimes somewhat marred by the netcode issues and other issues on a platform which is simulated. And at least you won't get that, and your talent can shine through, obviously, which it did on the day when you did the competition too. So, yeah, man, best of luck. And Burton obviously did it last year and did a pretty good job, I've got to say, for someone who was not race experienced and came from a pretty high level competitive part in like Scops, like you, and he did pretty damn well. So I
believe Burton as well had quite a few years in karts as well too beforehand, so that probably would have helped him too.
And so have you had experience in karts as well?
Nope.
Alrighty.
Unless you count some higher karts, which I'm not sure you do.
I would, just because it's my only claim to fame.
Yeah, 5th place at Luddenham Racecourse.
Out of 6 people, and the 6th was his grandma.
A win's a win. I mean, a fifth's a fifth.
But moving on, I hope the Toyota 86 series implements some pit stops, so then you can take advantage of that fuel saving that you've been working on in your iRacing.
Apparently, it wasn't Ethan. Remember, last time we had Ethan on, it was all 40.
Oh, no, but 40 can teach him. That's all good. 40.
Well, I got taught by Marty Carroll how to fuel save, so that's where all that's come from.
True that.
But everyone thinks we fuel save all the time to get ahead of them in pit stops and all that sort of thing. But I think it's probably just my right foot braking a bit. Probably uses a little bit less fuel and just make your pit stops better, and you might not come out behind me.
Interesting. So right foot braking, you and Jared obviously are the masters of that. If there's anyone else there that does the same thing, let me know, guys.
Dane does it 50% of the time.
Okay. Yeah, up the top of the mountain, right foot.
Yeah.
And bottom. Yeah.
How can you do that? I don't get that. Anyway, but that's just me.
It's called talent. I know I don't get it either.
That's where I'm like.
Yeah, I mean,
to be honest, for me at least, I find the right foot brake, like using the clutch and everything, because I heel toe and everything, and it just stabilizes the car for me more than left foot braking does. But maybe I'm just a pleb with my left foot. That's probably the real answer here.
I think that's my problem too, because whenever I try and left foot, I just stab the nose and it just goes off into the fence.
But that's you every lap.
Hey, I've done 2 successfully without crashing.
what, laps? Ever?
Yeah, mate.
On iRacing?
Yeah, mate. That's how I qualified for Scops last year.
Wouldn't it be good if iRacing had a counter of how much damage you did over a session? And then you could add it up over a year?
Oh, yeah. Thomas McMillan would get a life ban, I think.
Could you imagine if they made you pay extra on your membership for how much damage you've done?
Yeah, we were speaking about this with Josh Rogers, that, yeah, you need some type of payback or you have to pay some type of,
In the Pro Series, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. No, I think the left foot braking thing is something that we get I think it's just laziness, to be honest. And I mean, you say, oh yeah, go-kart or open wheeler cars, you left foot brake. But I mean, for me, I can't do it with the way the rig's set up. I would just, 2 things. My left foot wouldn't be able to reach over to the clutch like well enough to feel comfortable. And the other thing, I'd make way too much noise on my wooden floorboards. I'd be banging the thing so hard. But I think that if you've got that experience with the right foot braking, obviously that's got to help with driving the real car. And also just moving on from that, as far as the real car versus the sim, I really am interested to know that how much of a handy element of being a sim driver and being quite good at it, obviously, did that translate? Can you tell where that translated into the real car? And how do you think you'd go? What would the experience be like if you didn't actually have any sim experience and just had your real car, the 86?
Simulators have just come so far nowadays, it's actually ridiculous. So, like, there's a bunch of people still in the motor racing industry that still look at simulators as a game and just scoff at it thinking, oh, there's no point doing that. I'll just test on my real car. That's how you do it. But like they're just that good nowadays that they can be correlated between the two almost seamlessly. Well, if you sort of used to the two. I at first when I transitioned into the real world, because I started iRacing seriously back in 2015 when I was doing the V8's official series. And then probably about late 2015, I bought my NA6 MX5, which was 1989 model, I believe. So it didn't have a great amount of power, but doing my first track day was at Phillip Island actually, and I'd done 1,000 laps there in the sim, and driving out onto the front straight for the first time was just the weirdest experience because I've been there that many times, yet I hadn't actually been there, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, right. So it was more recognition of where you were. You knew exactly what was coming up next, and that actually brings me to another question. Is there a simulator out there that has Winton on there, and did you give it a crack prior?
I'm pretty sure Assetto Corsa has both Winton and Wakefield as sort of mod tracks, but none of them are laser scanned. So to be honest, I didn't even bother with it for the fact of maybe it might give me bad habits if the corner radiuses are wrong or something like that. So what I actually did for Wakefield, because I'd never actually been to Wakefield before, I went up 3 weeks prior to the Aussie Driver Search final and hired one of the track school MX5s that they have up there.
Oh,
and
right.
so I belted around the track for 40 laps or so and got my end of the track. And then when I went back up the next few weeks for Aussie Driver Search, I was straight on it.
Oh, that's good.
That's a top gear, top tip.
Preparation is
key.
That's it. Well, it's one of those iRacing little tidbits, isn't it? The more prepared you get or something, the luckier you get, something like that. But that's really cool, man. So it looks like you've invested quite a bit of yourself and time, money. You've really backed yourself, man. So that just gives it a little bit more credit that you came through with the win, because we obviously had guys who went through like Madison, Josh as well. They all had a crack at it. Heaps of other guys on iRacing on our platform, part of the iRacing Down Under community, the Flatchat podcast community, they all went in and had a crack. So, I mean, they were different series, obviously, that they were trying to go for, different levels. But, yeah, man, you backed yourself and you came through with it. So, what are you looking forward to this year? Have you got any kind of expectations for yourself? I mean, any results or something like that you're kind of trying to pull out of yourself?
If I do something like the 86 series, I'd like to be able to sort of run near the top 10 area, because I know the blokes in those cars have the car set up exactly how they need. They do every tiny thing to get them to the front end, and they're in the car 24/7 basically. So I think if I can push the car sort of near the top 10 area, I'll be pretty happy with myself. And
Well, just beat Jake Burton. That's all. Just set yourself another challenge. Just
Well, it's part of the whole thing. If I can beat Jake Burton in his own car, well, then job done. That's all I need to do.
yeah.
Damn. Spicy as Vindaloo. That's awesome. Yeah, good to see the competition coming out. Because he was kind of like the what would you call it? Like the canary, the test pilot, I guess, for this scheme of iRacers getting in. I mean, everyone was so bloody happy that he got in from our community, when he won it. And now you've kind of done it like a second year in a row. So we're kind of, no pressure, but you kind of expected to up the ante, mate. So good luck.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm hoping I can beat his results. Well, I was one spot higher than him in Scops, and I already told him that in person at Wakefield. So there's all the banter with the ADS crew, and Burton has already started. Don't you worry about that. But
Oh, brilliant.
So what's he going to be? Is he going to be part? He's already a massive part of even putting this. Okay, so Kyle is not known if he's coming on the show or not, although this might be a bit of a Back to the Future moment. He may have already been on the show, if that makes any sense, due to editing. But if he isn't on the show, we'll have him on next week for sure. But yeah, he obviously Aussie Driver Search, and Kyle Austin, the founder and owner of the series, of the organisation, he's just made a deal with V8's SimSpeed to actually be, sorry, I was going to call them V8s Online, but SimSpeed to be the title sponsor of the. Exactly. Monday night Strength of Field, he's going to be the title sponsor for ADS. He's going to sponsor the whole show there. So, I mean, how does that work in with you? Are you? I don't know what the question is, but
Are you involved?
Sorry, Jesus.
when I first saw that I'm pretty sure when everyone saw it too. So I know about as much as you guys do in that aspect.
Okay.
But it just goes to show Aussie Driver Search obviously have a grasp of sim racing nowadays, because talent can come out of sim racing and hop into a real car and go well. That's just what nowadays is.
Yep.
Seen it time again.
That's you guys are proving it. And that's what we like to see. It really builds the I suppose the vision for us as I suppose sim racing promoters, to see, it's really good to see this sort of success out of sim racing, and I'm hoping that this can lead to something bigger. So yeah, you better get out there and get some wins, mate.
Some wins. Yeah, mate, you better win the series.
No, mate, you don't.
You could win.
You've done a great job to
to
get where you are, mate, and I really look forward to see whatever you do.
It's fine. I'll win the whole championship in 3 rounds. We'll be all good.
Excellent.
Yeah, cool.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
mate. Appreciate it.
I'll put my mortgage on that.
All right,
And
let's
that way
wrap
we
it.
can
No, I'm joking.
we can settle that.
So anyway, I did mention this before, but your experience with competitive esports in that type of arena has been apparent in your Battlefield experience, being part of a high-level team, esport team. Do you reckon that is going to give you some type of advantage, or has it given you advantage with just calming the nerves, feeling confident, just feeling like you can get in the groove of the competition a little bit more? Do you reckon that's going to help you for this year?
Look, competitive FPS gaming is a completely different animal to racing in itself. So there's not really too much I can bring from one side to the other. And I must admit, at the level that everyone is in iRacing at the moment and in the real world, it's sitting quite a bit higher than probably where the Battlefield FPS was at that time. So I must admit I wasn't really nervous when playing Battlefield. However, every time I'm sitting on a Scops grid waiting for the lights to go green, my heart's going crazy. And I don't think that's ever going to stop. That's just the nature of racing.
Yeah, there's not too many G-forces when you're sitting down playing Battlefield or Call of Duty or whatever you're playing. Otherwise, I'd be screwed.
Yeah, see, that's a really cool thing about sim racing too, is like you can get really good in a game like Battlefield, but there's no real world equivalent that you can transfer skill into. Unlike if you spend a stupid amount of time on a simulator, at least you can hop into a real car and be like, oh yeah, now I know what I'm doing.
It's the only real simulator in my eyes. So
I want to say IRacing, but let's not go there.
What about the VR cooking simulator? Like, wow. You forgot about that.
Farming simulator?
Oh, you're as bad as the Warren brothers sitting there playing all these different simulator things.
Train simulator.
Oh, Jesus.
You can really simulate a train.
I thought Fortnite was giving me building expertise.
You're going to be an architect.
How's you dancing?
Yeah, I'm an architect.
How's you dancing? Is that improved?
Fortnite. It has improved, Norrie. We'll get to. I'll talk about that off air, mate. I've got some of those dances down pat. Me and my 8-year-old, we got them down, mate. It's a workout, cardio through the roof.
That's funny. I've had a few kids walk into my shop. If anyone doesn't know, I actually run a retail shop, a very small retail shop, and I've had some like kids. I'm speaking to one of the kids' fathers, and the kid's just standing there doing one of the Fortnite dances, just out in the open in the middle of a pretty large shopping centre. And that's
a
taken
scourge
over.
at the moment.
I think maybe that's an improvement that iRacing can look at doing, like celebrations in the car or something, you know.
Custom emotes for all the drivers.
Maybe you can bring that to real life racing, Ethan.
Don't say that, Ethan. Fonty will get onto that.
Or
emotes for all the drivers.
Instead of trading paints, you have to buy skins for your car, and then everyone will get pissed off.
Oh yeah, exactly. V-Bucks. You can spend all your iRacing credit, like 300 iRacing credit for one skin.
It's not provided.
Oh yeah, like that Marlboro skin. Oh yeah, that's $500. Here you go.
It's censored.
Not sure if that's actually legal to run. Hey,
no, not anymore. Well, I don't know. Who knows nowadays with the whole thing going on with SimSpeed and making sure all of the liveries have every single sponsor have a written permission. I know that's caused a little bit of what would you call it? Like some people aren't happy with it because it's a little bit of work. Yeah, but us gamers are probably a little bit more lazy than we should be. So
yeah.
Well, it's not only SimSpeed; it's all broadcast heroes on iRacing now. So
Exactly.
that includes RaceSpot and everyone. So obviously, it comes down from iRacing, and they just want it to be right. Otherwise, they face consequences.
they just want to legitimize the sport, and like, you know,
I think it's
like
something that comes out of
that's
America.
the best way to do it.
Because if you look at American TV shows, logos and stuff that aren't associated with that show are often covered up. So, like on MythBusters, they were using cola. They had to cover up that it was cola with a MythBusters cola logo. I think it's a thing in America where they can't use a brand's identity, and so iRacing's just bringing it in and making us all.
It's probably somewhere in the Australian law as well, to be honest. And
I'm pretty sure the energy drink in PUBG used to actually be branded Red Bull until they obviously got I'm pretty sure they got a desist letter, and then it just becomes some sort of random energy drink skin that they put on.
Yeah, right.
It's funny that because sometimes that works in other ways with the movies where they'll cover it up because that particular brand will not give them money to have their brand in the movie. A lot of times you'll see that with laptops.
Yeah.
They'll put a sticker on the cover so you can't see the brand of the laptop.
Although you can very clearly tell it's an Apple.
Yeah, exactly, because it's a round sticker in the middle of the silver laptop.
That is a Mac, and they've cut off the Apple.
Or they go the complete other way and do a really obvious shameless plug on something.
Yeah, like they hold the can of Coke and like purposely twist it around so you can see the label perfectly as they guzzle it down. I think it was in Wayne's World.
That's like when they're doing.
I'm pretty sure there was a Fast and Furious movie too, where like it was really obvious Corona advertisement too for the beer.
Oh yeah, yep.
Have you seen any music clip in the last 3 years? Beat by Dre is literally shamelessly in there.
Yeah.
Beats by Dre, yeah, for sure. I only watch Garth Brooks film clips though, so I'm out of the loop.
Anyway, I think we might move on to some racing again. We got a little bit off track there.
Well, Garth Brooks does involve. He gets my heart racing, Cassie.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Jesus, kill me.
So Ethan, last but not least, how's your preparation for Scops going? Have you started your preparation for Scops? And how's it going, mate? Have you been practicing out some of the new circuits? Obviously, Tsukuba and what was the other one that joined in? I'm not sure if they're doing the Roval. I don't think they will, but have you had a crack yet?
To be honest, I haven't even looked at the calendar yet. So there's your answer.
Right. Yeah, okay.
But we're actually having a bit of a crack at the GTE Pro Qual series at the moment. So that's what's taken up a bit of my time at the moment.
Cool.
And then like my main focus next year will still be Scops. Yep. And then the racing, the real life racing will be equal as much.
Awesome.
Yeah, you better get the calendar checked out, I reckon, because who knows what'll clash here or there. That you might have Reece Gardner and Jake Sperry having to make a comment that Ethan Grigg Gault can't be on the grid because he's currently, flying back from Queensland or something.
Well, the lucky thing is because the 86 series runs with the V8 supercars, there is no clashes. That's why Jake Burton could run the entire Scops series and then race in real life too, and be completely fine. The only bit where that issue arises if I decide to do another series, like something I've been toying around with, is Australian production cars, because you get quite a lot of miles per gallon in that series. But but not looking at the calendar, there's probably definitely going to be a clash, which I'd rather avoid.
Is that, speaking of Josh Muggleton, is that what he runs? Just, do you know?
Yeah, he runs his VW in production cars, I believe, Class D.
Yeah, cool.
I'm not too sure about that.
Just a guess, but I'm sure there'd be maybe a couple of guys from iRacing who would be involved in that. That'd be pretty cool, wouldn't it? What car would you run, mate, in the production car?
I think Stuart Vaughan's in it as well, in the Mazda 6 diesel.
Yes,
but if I was to run into it, you can use the ADS 86s as well. I think they just need a change of front brakes and wheels, and I think they're good to go.
Mate, sounds pretty cool.
I've got to say, mate, we're definitely looking forward to seeing whatever you do, Race. We're definitely looking forward to seeing you jump out on the track, and hopefully you can get some nice videos for us. And mate, all I can say is congratulations, and I'm really looking forward to seeing what you can do next season.
Thank you. I'm very much looking forward to it myself.
And before you jump off, mate, have you got any sponsors that you want to thank?
I'd just like to thank all the boys over at Evolution Racing Team for supporting me for the past couple of years I've been with their team, and all of our sponsors, Logitech, Speed Cafe, Joel Real Timing, and my personal sponsor, who you'll find my setups off online. I'm a pure driving school driver now. So.
Right. Congratulations.
Lovely. Lovely, mate. Congratulations.
Well done.
So head to their website for all their nice setup tutorials, videos, and split times and all that.
Yeah, sweet. That's awesome,
mate. We'll put that logo right next to the VRS one that goes on the podcast too. That's all. Yeah, that's all. That's not true. That's great, mate. Pure driving school. So you're going to be working with Josh? Is Josh with them?
I believe I'm there because Josh is out of there now.
Oh, okay.
I think Josh is with Coanda now, which have affiliates with VRS, so you obviously can't do both.
Correct.
So I believe I'm the second-rate replacement.
Not second-rate, mate. No way. Wow. Yeah. I mean, you're like, we've been speaking to you about half an hour, and that we have you have our respect very, very much. But in my opinion, Ethan, you're probably the most underrated and under acknowledged driver in the entire Scops field. That's my personal opinion. So, mate, onwards and upwards for this year, for sure.
Hopefully, the next few years, I can change that thought. So try and run at the front, get some more race wins, vie for championships, and happy days.
Yeah, mate. Hell yeah.
Well, how good do you reckon it's going to be next season? I can't wait to see Ethan actually jump in a real-life race car, whatever that may be, and give it a real crack. I'm sure he'll do quite well.
Oh, yeah. He might do all right. I hope he bins it just for the entertainment factor. No,
wow.
I don't really. Now, how bad would that be? Because I'm pretty sure that Jake was explaining he has to pay the damage bill. So, I hope Ethan does go screamingly well. I reckon he will. Oh, by the way, mate, Ethan, I've just watched that YouTube clip of you driving your own 86 around Winton, I believe it is. And, mate, that's a killer lap. Not that I'm any expert, but, man, that looks pretty damn good.
Yeah, he's got pace. He
does.
Well, hopefully that transfers. His Scops pace will transfer over to the whatever series he's running. It'll be very, very exciting, as it was watching Jake Burton this year. I definitely tuned in to pretty much every Toyota 86 race that was on TV this year, and I'm definitely looking forward to seeing what that bloke can do in a real-life race car.
Maybe he'll get that clean escape like Burton did at Sandown. Do you remember that?
Yeah. That was good. Oh. That's you could just see Jake Burton's eyes light up and go, I don't want to 4 times.
Yeah, his experience to get that high I rating was just came into play there, didn't it?
Yeah, that's right.
That's one of the best things about being a sim racer is you don't want that contact, so you will avoid anything at all measures.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's exactly why I don't leave my details when I hit someone on the road. I don't want that 4 times.
Yeah, that's it. Well, anyway, guys, I think we might wrap it up there. Thanks for joining us again, Norrie, mate. It was awesome to have you back in the booth, and hopefully you can jump in for a lot more this upcoming season.
It's awesome to be there. I'm glad my chair was still left here with the famous emblazoned Norrie on it. So that's fantastic.
Yeah, Jeff Sperry sat in your chair though.
Yeah, Sperry and Reese.
I don't like everyone else using my chair, so no, I'll be back for 2019, and I'm more than happy to throw myself back into our podcast and talk to a lot more people and bring out the personalities behind the drivers in 2019, and hopefully, make the grid myself and be a bit better at the Chris Kessie and not crash into any more good livery cars.
All I can say is good luck, mate. All I can say is good luck.
Yeah, no, it is good to have you back on, man. Good luck this year. I don't know what your plans are. I do stand by you trying to do something horrendously terrible and unprofessional at work so you can get some time off. Hopefully on some type of disability allowance.
I will not jump off a ladder.
Well, you work at JCar. Can't you accidentally fall into a 240 volt electrical slot or something?
No,
the problem with that is being electrocuted. It doesn't really keep me alive.
Oh wow!
It'll have to be something 12 volt. We'll brainstorm.
I'd love Sperry to, after that happened in your first Scops appearance, to say, Matthew Norris's pace is electrifying.
You've already worked out the meme, mate.
You sounded like a Test cricket commentator then. And welcome to Lords.
Yeah, Sperry in his 60s. Oh, man. Seriously, you just kicked me off this show, man. I should not be here.
I don't think we could do it without you.
Oh, thanks, Norrie. It makes me feel better, but I know the truth. Hey, next week we'll probably, I say probably, because he was supposed to come on tonight. It was a bit of a shame that he couldn't come on, but he was caught up. Kyle Austin, the owner and founder of Aussie Driver Search, to chat a little bit more about Ethan Grigg Gault and what that means for him and Ethan, and also the Strength of Field title sponsorship that Aussie Driver Search has offered. So we really would like to chat to Kyle. And, mate, the seat's warm here for you, mate, for next show. So let's get it going next time.
Well, thank you for listening to the Flat Chat podcast brought to you by SimSpeed Entertainment. If you want to check us out, we're on Facebook at Flat Chat Podcast or simspeed.tv, and then we're on the entertainment tab. Thank you for listening, and we will see you next time.